Greetings to all gardeners. We're glad that you've joined us. We're going to talk about all things gardening, spring things and turf and all kinds of things. Whatever we come up with, that's what we hope to talk about. Hi, I'm Diane Nolan and I teach horticulture in the Crop Sciences Department in the College of ACES. I have some really talented people with me. Let's find out who's here and what their expertise is. So I'm going to start first with you, Sandy Mason. Hi.
Very good. Great. Hi. I'm Sandy Mason. I'm the horticulture educator with the University of Illinois Extension, and I'm the educator for Champaign, Ford, Iroquois, and Vermilion counties. This is my area. And I pretty much take care of all kinds of questions, pretty much anything green and growing, but probably ornamentals, trees, those kind of things. We'll leave lawns to him.
That's right. That's what we'll do.
And I actually have a viewer question about hollyhocks, which I know is a really popular flower, but we've had an awful lot of problems the last few years with a disease called hollyhock rust. And it actually causes these, they call them pustules, which is kind of, sounds gross, but it's actually what it kind of, the bumps often on the undersides of the leaves is where you really see it. And actually you can also show up on the top sides of the leaves. And it can get to the point where it'll actually, it'll defoliate and just the plants get stunted and they don't do very well. So it really can be a very serious disease. So this is a fungal disease. And as we know with fungal diseases, the biggest thing, one of the biggest things is just really good sanitation. You know, getting the leaves out of there is a big thing. I know this viewer was quite worried about any new plants that would come up this spring and any plants that she might have, and with good reason to have concern about that, because this is a fungal disease that can transfer to other plants, to new plants that you plant, and really any of those kind of hollyhock type plants can actually get this for the most part. Some of the miniature ones tend to be a little bit more resistant. So what can you do? Probably the biggest thing is just really good sanitation. Get those leaves out of there. So anything that was infected last year, try to get them out as fast as you can. This year it would have been good to do it over the winter time, and then if it progresses continually through the summer, to get those leaves as soon as they start to appear. So those with the pustules. You can go ahead and there is a fungicide that you can use. It's sold as Daconil. Chlorothalonil is the fancy name for it, but you can use that as a spray, but you have to use it as a preventative, and you'd have to spray several times, like certainly read and follow all label directions and then use it at the intervals, which may be like every 10 days. So it's really hard to try to control it with the fungicide, but you have to do certainly the sanitation first and then fungicide. But
So if they isolate hollyhocks and don't have mallows or hibiscus
Right.
or other things around, that's actually better, wouldn't it?
it actually would be, because these can transfer, I said, to the as I mentioned, to the other plants. Some of the smaller ones seem to be a little bit more resistant. The ones that have the little smaller flowers, but they can all get it. And it's been bad the last couple of years. So I think hopefully, maybe not this year. We don't know,
Let's
but
hope.
yeah, oh well.
Gardeners are always optimistic.
Aren't we,
and
though?
hopeful. Yes, we are. That's what we like to say. Thank you, Sandy. And now I'm going to introduce the person next to me, Dr. Tom Voigt. Hi, Tom.
Good evening, Diane, Sandy. I'm Tom Voigt. I'm also in the Department of Crop Sciences at the U of I, and I work with perennial grasses. So I work with turf, and I work with ornamental grasses, and I also work with bioenergy grasses. I have show and tell tonight. I brought two of my favorite weeders. I do
You saying you have weeds?
I do have weeds in my yard, but this one is a weeder that is multi-purpose. You can see it's got dirt on it still, or soil. Actually, it's dirt.
Probably
'cause
is dirt.
It's out of place here, but it works very nicely to scrape small weeds between bedding plants or other tightly planted plants while they're developing. You can also use it to scrape larger areas. So it's not for digging deeply, and most weeds, when they're seedlings, you don't need to dig them out. But if you just scrape, you have a sharp edge on there, and you scrape, that will cut those weed seedlings off at the ground level, and that's all you need to do. So this one works very nicely for seedlings. Now, as a horticulturist,
Sit back, Sandy. Look out.
as
deadly.
a horticulturist, one of the most pleasing sounds that I can think of is the sound of a dandelion taproot snapping about 4 inches underground. And this horticultural weeding knife works very nicely for that. So it can be inserted at the base of the dandelion plant and pop out from the tip up. Now, this also works nicely as a small trowel, and it works well to break up if you're planting a small area and you don't want to get the shovel out. This works nicely to break that soil up if you're planting bedding plants or vegetable transplants. So both of these are, I think, work very nicely, and both are well used in my yard.
And they could just go to a full-service garden center and ask about them. And
Yeah,
and order it
I would
maybe?
expect on garden centers or good hardware store garden departments,
Okay.
but also online. There's
Okay.
all sorts of stuff. I know I've seen this one or variant of this online from at several different locations.
Okay.
Duluth Traders, I know sells a gardening knife of this type, for
Okay.
example.
I was just trying to keep lots of emails and phone
And,
calls.
this one does
And it
have
Ooh,
a
comes
quick
with a
draw.
sheath.
has a belt sheath, so works very nicely.
Then you know you are a plant geek.
Yeah, you look good.
Oh, well done. We do like our tools, that's for sure. Thank you, Tom. Well, I have a question from Harlan, who is a faithful viewer from Wellington, and he asked, if I buy 2 American persimmon trees, they're 18 to 24 inches high, how many years before they would bear fruit? Well, I've done a poll over the last 2 or 3 weeks of shows, and at 1.5 to 2 feet, we think it will probably take anywhere from 7 to 8 to 10 years to bear fruit. Now that is if, he said, how do I also know if I will get, he's getting 2 of them, how do I know if I'll get 1 male and 1 female? And you don't know that for sure, but if they are selling cultivars and they're, those would be male and female, then you would be able to tell. So make sure that the nursery you're getting it from lets you know it's a cultivar. Okay, well, let's go next to a special Did You Know? It is important to not plant tomatoes this week, would you say?
Because it looks like it's even going to get into 40s or something like next week or so. I don't know.
Mother's Day,
Yeah.
with protection, maybe 2 minutes before Mother's Day, 15 minutes early or so.
Yeah.
Unless you want to support the tomato growing industry, they will, you will have some frost. I remember a frost on May 20th.
Wow.
I
And
think that's
tomatoes would be
about, isn't that the middle of May, somewhere around
Middle
our
of May.
frost-free date? Yeah,
And
so,
up north it would be later, and down south, you're probably okay to plant in May. But this April to early May really is not a good idea for tomatoes. So I just had to get that in there. Thank you for that little did you know. And now we're going to go to the phone lines. Let's go to line 1, and Robin has a question about transplanting. Hello, Robin.
Hi. I have a little teeny tiny patch of trilliums I've been nursing along for quite a while.
Good.
And finally, the rose bush that was impinging on that area has gone, thanks to Springfield Civic Garden Club. And now there's room to spread them out. They're in a real tight clump. Can I transplant them now? Because their flowers haven't put out the 3 little dark magenta petals yet, or should I wait till after they die off? And I got the daylilies got a little ahead of me. I have leaves up but no bloom spike. Can I transplant them now, or do I have to wait till after they bloom?
Okay, so on the trillium, we can take a little poll here, but I wouldn't transplant them before they flowered.
Yeah, I think I'd wait until they start to
wouldn't.
fade. Once they start to
Right.
fade a little bit, after they've, full flowered and then start to fade, I think I would move them then at that point. I don't know. What do you guys
I
think?
agree. I think things in flower, that's probably not the good time to transplant most anything that I can think of.
Because it
So,
really isn't broken. I mean, it's about to flower,
Yeah,
let it
right.
flower.
and it's going to be
think about it.
putting a lot of its material, its food, internal food up into making that flower, and you want it to be at a time when it perhaps is making roots if you're going to transplant.
Right.
It would be my thought. So.
And I would think you'd probably want, with a lot of those, sometimes it's also great to, if you can go ahead and let them flower, and then they can put on seed, and then if some of them don't make us, you move them around, at least maybe you'll have the seed too to
That's
help
true.
spread. So that's why I think I'd wait till they start to yellow a little bit. They don't have to be completely, browned out, but.
If you have the transplanting bug, you could get out and transplant a few of the warm season perennial grasses. It'd be warm season that are not up yet.
Right, right. Grasses are pretty forgiving, but even at that, I would transplant or divide grasses when they're not flowering.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. And was there a question about daylilies too? Did I
Oh
hear
yeah.
that
What was
part?
that question?
Yeah, I think something about daylilies. Daylilies, I move any old time, but you certainly can do now. I mean, don't you think?
yeah.
I've moved them whenever.
Maybe not when we had frost 18 inches into the soil, but any other
Okay,
time.
maybe not any old time, but
Just to be specific.
okay, close.
But no, I don't think you can kill a
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
daylily. So, thank you for your transplanting questions. We are ready to go, aren't we? That sounds good. Well, let's go to line 2, and I think it's a question about rhubarb. Hi, line 2.
Hi, it's about rhubarb and about my garden because I have used various fertilizers and peat moss, and I have a combination soil that is it's like black dirt, sand, has a lot of sand, and I'm on the high bank of a creek. And I just have trouble because some things grow very, very well, and some things don't grow at all. And the rhubarb, I've tried for 3 years to get rhubarb started, and it never comes back up. And I just wondered if there's some place I can send the dirt to be checked and see what I need to put on the garden.
Do you keep planting it in the same spot, or do you move it around?
No, the garden is pretty much the same spot, but
Yeah.
I plant the things I plant in there in different areas of it.
Well, I would think for one thing, I think rhubarb, the only thing I've ever seen really kill off rhubarb is it's actually too wet, because it'll rot. And I wouldn't think in your soil with all that sand and stuff that would be the issue. I think probably what I would really look at is, make sure that when you do get rhubarb that it's a 2 to 3 year old plant. So make sure that it's a really pretty good size roots. I don't know how you're buying them, but just make sure it's a pretty healthy plant. I've seen some pretty small plants sometimes, and sometimes it takes them a while to get going. So make sure it's not happens to be in low spot or anything, or it might be too wet because they're not going to like that at all. But I think other than that, and then full sun, they need full sun. But I would think even a little sandy soil would be fine for those. You certainly can send soil samples out to soil testing labs, and any area that does agricultural soil testing generally will also do garden soil testing. So just checking your
That's not something the university does.
yeah, the
We-
university does, right.
We do not do
There's
soil.
plenty of soil testing labs
Commercial
out there.
labs out
yeah,
there.
yeah. So check with your local extension office, see if they have some soil testing labs that they can mention to you. So that'd probably be the big thing. But there's a bunch of things that actually like sandy soil. Like I bought some native plants. I went shopping today. Oops, sorry. Bird's foot violet. Oh. Really, a great little plant. There's lots of things that actually like that kind of sandier soil. Butterfly weed is another one that loves that kind of sandier soil. So probably the big thing is that it almost sounds like you've got a lot of shade. You said it's kind of a riverbank. Would you have a lot of shade?
Well, there is shade on the east side, but on the south, north, and west, no.
It's full sun. Okay.
Okay, so you can
right
choose your
out
spot.
in the sun, yes.
Yeah. So there's lots of native plants that actually like that kind of sandier soil. So you may need to just sort of look at a different plant palette.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Do you have an address for a soil testing
In your area,
in Iroquois County?
just look it up in your area. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Soil
sorry.
testing. We can't
On
really
the
give
computer.
you. No, just phone book. Soil testing. But you can look it up on the computer as well.
You may want to call your Farm Bureau office, or your extension office, and they can give you the nearest the address and contact information for the nearest commercial soil testing lab.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you very
Okay,
much.
good luck.
I will try that.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, we want to go next to line 3, and this is Carol, and she has a perennial grass question. Good timing, Carol.
Okay. A couple of years ago, I bought 2 perennial grasses. One I just stuck in the ground, and it's doing fine. The other one, before I planted them, I split it in 2 and, decoratively put it on either side. Unfortunately, the one that I split in 2 never really seemed to take. And I went out there now, and sure enough, it still doesn't seem to have taken. Should I just give up the ghost, dig up the clumps, and throw them out? Is there any possibility that they could start again after 2 years?
Ooh, not after the weather we had in 2012. And my guess is if you didn't have anything last year, you're not going to have anything this year. What grass did you plant? Can you tell me?
Well, I was afraid you were going to
Tom, you're so mean.
Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
I do not know. I have a lovely clump of perennial grasses that are firmly established and beautiful, but in order to transplant them, you need 2 boys and a strong man and a chainsaw to dig up the roots.
Yeah.
So I was hoping this would work, but you think I should just give up on the...
I would say grasses are pretty forgiving, but if you didn't have anything growing last year, I would be pretty certain that they're not alive. And if you're looking for ornamental grasses, there are some really nice miscanthus, sinensis types, such as maiden grass or the variegated miscanthus or zebra grass, and then there are really nice pennisedums or fountain grasses that are perennial. I'm a particular fan of Carly Rose, Oriental fountain grass. That's a really nice one, and it doesn't seem to be invasive. Some of the hardy pampas fountain grasses will in fact invade your lawn. The seeds can germinate in the lawns and become messy. But the Carly Rose, I've not had any experience with that invading into turf. If you look in those groups, Carl Forster feather reed grass is about as ironclad as you can get. That's a cool season grass. It takes urban soils, it takes wet soils, it takes light shade. It doesn't make viable seed, so it doesn't spread. It doesn't spread by rhizome. So overall, it's just a real reliable grass for the landscape. So you might choose from some of those as you replace the two that didn't make it. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And the feather reedgrass would not take 2 boys and a man. to
No,
plant it either. It
no.
would-
And the nice thing about grass is, particularly things like some of the miscanthus, you can buy a 6-inch pot, and by the end of the growing season, you would have a pretty respectable looking grass. They grow quite rapidly, and
All I ever take is a spade, a fairly long spade, and I just divide a little
Right.
bit off the side. I never get 2 boys and a man out for
Or
my-
one woman.
Or one woman and a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But I just take a spade, a long spade, and take a little bit off, and I'm going to do that here in just about a couple of
yeah,
days.
it's getting to be about time to do some grass dividing.
So don't think you have to lift the whole thing. Just take off what you need.
Take a
from the
wedge
side.
of a wedge.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, let's go to line 4, and Carolyn has a question for us about flowers. Hi, Carolyn. Or is it Caroline?
Hi. Yes, I have a question about I've been enjoying my beautiful tulips and daffodils,
Great.
and I was wondering, some of them need to be divided. And I was wondering, when the flowers die, would that be a good time to divide them?
Okay, now this is tulips and daffodils.
Yes.
I'm going to recommend that you wait till the foliage ripens, and that means yellows. So don't,
Yes.
not right after when it flowers, but let the foliage ripen, then you get photosynthesis, putting stored food back into the bulb, and then before it disappears, you can still see the foliage. Otherwise, it's a treasure hunt. Before it disappears, then you dig them up, and you can go ahead and plant them. You can also store them in a garage, but you could go ahead and replant them.
Or you can put a marker so you can identify the spot that
Yeah.
they're in, and then later in this fall.
She
you
sounds
can,
like she's raring to go. But yes, but you can do either one. But you just want to remember where they are. And I just follow them down with their yellowed leaves and divide
Yes,
them
that
in.
will work. Yes, I'll do that. All right. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Thank you very much. Because if you do it right after it flowers, it's going to be
That'll be the end.
mincemeat for next year. All right, well, we're going to go around and have you do a show and tell, Sandy.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
see.
I wish we had smell-o-vision, because
Yes.
we're talking about fragrance in the garden. And I think the one thing, there's any number of plants out there that certainly will have some fragrance to it. This is actually, usually we consider this to be annual. It's called stock. It doesn't have a very exciting name, but what do you think, Tom? What do you think it smells like? Kind of
Spicy.
spicy, very spicy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It has
yeah.
this wonderful, kind of spicy fragrance to it, which I just love, almost like a clove or something
very,
to it,
very
doesn't it?
clove-like, yep.
And then I think a lot of people are certainly familiar with hyacinths, which is a bulb, which you could certainly go ahead and plant in the fall, or even the nice thing this time of year, often you can buy them like this, enjoy the flowers in a container, and then go ahead and plant them. There's no reason why you can't go ahead and plant these and have these as a perennial. Certainly the other thing is lavender. So this is one of those where it's kind of a scratch and sniff kind of plant, smell and sniff. So I think that's the one thing. Some flowers just naturally emit their fragrance, but then there's a lot of these type, like a lavender and herbs and stuff, where you really kind of have to pet them, or I don't know, whatever you want to call this. But lavender is a really good one. English lavender is really the best one to go if you really want one that's going to be winter hardy for you. The French lavender, which tends to have little serrated leaves, tends to not be hardy for us. It'd be a nice one to, kind of temperamental, but also quite fragrant. So English lavender. And then I found that if you've had a hard time getting them through the winter, it's really good to have sandy soil. The lovely caller that said she had a lot of sandy soil, actually lavender would love that, because it really likes that well-drained soil. So that would be a good thing for her. So don't forget fragrance in your garden.
When you can control your water and your fertilizer, you can grow virtually anything in sandy soil.
Yeah,
But
well,
you
that's
just
true.
have to be willing to
It's just
water.
different.
Right,
isn't it?
it's but if you can manage the water and the fertility,
Yeah.
a lot of plants will grow in
We'll
sand.
do well in that, certainly. So
So now she can have lavender.
now, I think it'd be a great combo.
Ooh, those even look nice together.
Don't they?
Those three. Good combination of colors. Very good. Thank you for
Great.
for
over.
bringing fragrance, even if the viewers can't smell it. All right, let's go to you next, Tom.
Okay, I have an email. How can I get grass to grow in overshaded areas? I live in Urbana and the trees make it hard for my grass to grow. Well, unfortunately, it's very difficult to grow high quality turf in the shade. And I would suggest you take a walk out in the dense woods. You don't see many grasses growing out there. The grasses that we use as turf grasses, for the most part, evolved under full sun conditions. If you do want to try to grow grass in the shade, the best grass for shaded areas are the fine fescues. I would recommend a creeping red fescue or a chewings fescue. They are the most shade tolerant. Planted in the late summer or early fall. That's the ideal time to plant them. Keep the leaves off of them as it's developing. I know people that have shade and they plant fine fescues every fall, and they have grass in the spring until early summer, and then by early summer the grass has given up the ghost again because it just doesn't. It's just too shady. You might want to think about mulches in those areas, or some of the woodland wildflowers or other things such as pachysandra or English ivy or vinca. There's any number of really attractive. I think some of the gingers are spectacular looking. So maybe it's a time to decide you're going to put your efforts into growing an attractive ground cover rather than trying to have turf in a shaded area.
Sometimes you just have to do that.
Right.
You have to admit that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to a Rose question. I feel like answering a Rose question. Let's go to line 6. Janet with a Rose question.
Yes, I have roses all along the side of my house, and I have a friend who is in the gardening business, and she said that all of a sudden they developed thousands and thousands of thorns. And she said it had something called witch's brew, and that I needed to cut that out or it would spread. And I cut that one out, but it seems to be going to all my other roses. And I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, it actually sounds like a disease called rose rosette, and it'll cause this. What you usually see is that the rose will look fine, and then all of a sudden this branch will come out, and then it'll have all these red thorns on it, usually bright red thorns, lots of little leaves, and it'll be all this really compact growth, and it just looks like, it's just weird. It just looks very different compared to the rest of it.
Thousands.
Yep, yeah. It sounds like rose rosette, and it actually is caused by it's not quite a virus. I think they call it a phytoplasma now. So and unfortunately, there's no way to get it out of that plant. So once the plant has it, you do have to get it out of there. So you do have to sacrifice that one plant because insects will actually transfer that disease to your other roses. So this person that was talking to you is totally right on board there. So it is one of those that we just unfortunately have to sacrifice that plant that has the disease and get it out of there. You know,
right.
bury it or whatever.
Can I plant new roses where I take those out of?
I'd be a
I
little
wouldn't.
bit, yeah, I would be a little leery at that right now, especially if you're not quite, because it could be your other roses could already have it, maybe it's not quite showing up yet. So I'd make sure that you didn't have it in any of the other roses, don't you think, before you start doing any replanting? I'd be
think that'd be
really a little
safer.
concerned about that, to be honest with you.
Is there anything I could spray or anything?
It really, unfortunately, it's similar in the realm of like viruses in the sense that it's in the plant. So there really is no way to sort of get it out of the plant with any sprays or anything like that.
So
So
just
unfortunately,
take the whole plant out.
you got to take the
Well-
whole plant
And
out.
don't
I am
Sorry.
going to have to break in.
Don't
the
plant
the
anything
show
else?
is
Yep,
over.
sorry.
Wow. Thank you so much for watching. It goes so fast. I want to thank you folks for being here. Sure. And all of you folks, have a great week gardening. See you next time. Bye-bye.